turn on, we got to make sure that it's working, right? But I can't see the headlights, I can't see the turn signals, I can't see the four-ways, I can't see none of that shit up there from right here. Now either I'm going to get out and go look at it, or I'm going to do the smart thing, which is, hey, can you help me check my lights? Ask that person, that examiner that's grading me, to help you check the lights. They're okay with it. It's part of their job. So if you say, hey, can you please help me check the lights on the phone? I'm going to turn them on. If you can just let me know whether they're working or not. Left turn signal. They'll tell you it's good. Okay. Now the right turn signal. That one's good too. Four-way flashes. Look right here underneath the signals, guys. You grab this little lever with your fingertips, and you pull it out, and those are your four-way flashes. Now, they look at them, they tell you they're good. We got to turn them off. Well, look, you can't push it back in, guys. It doesn't work that way. Just turn it up or down, and that's how you cancel the four-way flashes. Okay? So we check left, right, four-ways. Good. Headlights. Good. All right, there goes the high beam now. Just like most cars, guys, you just lift and let go, right? High beam's on, off, back and forth. Okay, what else turns on when you turn the lights on? Clearance lights. So, hey, can you check the clearance lights while you're at it too? Okay, those are good. So that's everything on the front. Turn everything off. Hey, can you help me check the back? And you send them to the back of the trailer if you're doing the Class A. If you're doing the B, where you're not going to have a trailer, so they're going to look at the lights on the back of the truck. But if you are here for an A license, guys, you only worry about the trailer lights. No car can see these lights under here with the trailer underneath. So, what do we got on the trailer? Well, the same thing we have here. A left turn signal, a right turn signal, four-way flashers. And now what else do we have? We have brake lights to check back there too. And what else do we have? The tail lights. So how do we turn the tail lights? The same switch we turn the headlights on. Are they working? Yes, they're all good. License plate, whatever, if you want to call it out, if you remember, fine. If not, don't worry about it. But you check all the lights. So that is the external light operations test. Okay? What else do we have to do on the inside? Well, we got to do an engine start, and we got to do an interior inspection. Before I do the interior inspection, guys, I want to go ahead and do my engine start, because I want to have this truck running, especially if it's hot. I want the AC on, and if it's cold, I want the heater on, you know? Because after the light test, guys, what they are going to do, they're going to come and jump inside here with you. They're going to come and they're going to sit right here, right next to you. So now that they're here inside with me, they're going to show you my engine start. I'm going to show you the safest way that I know how to turn this truck on. I'm going to go ahead and depress the clutch. Verify that my zipper is in neutral. Verify that these parking brakes are applied by pulling on them. And now that I know that it's safe, I'll go ahead and turn it on. Once I turn it on, I'm going to wait for the engine to idle before I release the clutch. Once I see that the oil pressure goes up and stays up, I know it's idling now. Now it's safe for me to slow the wheel. That is an engine start. I'm just walking through the steps right now. So, what's left? The interior inspection of the vehicle. Over there, you want to leave it running, close the doors, close the windows. You can check everything inside here. Right now, it's hard for you guys to hear me. I'm pretty sure in the back. So I'm going to turn it off. But during the test, guys, once you turn the truck on, leave it on while you're checking everything inside here. Because with the truck running, it doesn't matter. All your gauges are going to work. All the switches will work. Everything will work. You're already building up the air pressure to check your parking brakes, your air brake test, all of that stuff. Whereas if you have it turned off, a lot of the stuff ain't going to work. And not only that, when it gets time to check the parking brakes or the air brake test, you ain't going to have no air pressure to do it, and you're going to have to turn it on anyways and sit here and wait for it to fill up, and you're going to be wasting time. So, with the truck running, say, hey, look, now I'm going to do my interior inspection. I'll start over here. Got my seatbelt. Make sure it's securely mounted. There's no rips or tears anywhere in it. I'm going to make sure that it adjusts to my body. Look, this is what I'm doing by stretching it out over here. I'm going to check that these latches or buckles, whatever you want to call them, work. That they not only do they lock, but they unlock as well. They're working both ways. And at this point, guys, I know somebody's gonna ask, do I leave my seatbelt on? It's up to you guys. If you want to leave it on or take it off, it doesn't matter. They're not grading you on whether you're wearing a seatbelt. Grading you on the inspection of the seatbelt. So, that's the seatbelt. What we see on the side, windows. Oh, we already checked this window earlier, right? What about those? These. So this is where you can tell them, hey, look, remember, just like I checked this window earlier, I will repeat the same on the windows on that side, this window behind me, and also on this windshield in front of me. Don't call it a window, make sure you call it the windshield. To make sure that they're all clean, nothing's cracked, nothing's broken, no obstructions blocking our view. All the weather seals, weather stripping or the rubber seals will not rip or torn around the windows. So we don't have leaks or loose windows. Now also that we don't have any illegal stickers anywhere on the windows. But everything is clean on the windows and the windshield, nothing's cracked, broken, and the seals are all good. Okay, so all of it. What else we got? Well, we got those mirrors that we checked earlier, but now we also have that one back from that one that I would check just like this one. Brackets are secure, nothing's cracked, nothing's broken. All the mirrors are clean so I can see through them. But now, because I am sitting in the driver's seat, the most important thing is for me to make sure that these mirrors are adjusted to me, not to you or to anybody else, but to me as a driver. So don't forget the adjustment, just like we checked the adjustment on the seatbelt, the adjustment of the mirrors as well. So we covered the mirrors now too. What do we have on the door? Well, we got all these little handles and locks and stuff. Group it all together, look over, make sure all this stuff is securely mounted, not cracked or broken. There, all this is working on the inside of the door. Okay, well look, started here, I just covered everything on the side of me right here. Now I also have this horn. Make sure that it blows so I can communicate with others around me that it works, the air horn. Same thing with the electric horn, make sure it also works to communicate with them as well. Got this steering wheel right in front of me. Look, I'm checking to make sure I don't have more than 10 degrees of blade to the right or to the left. It is securely mounted. It doesn't have anything cracked or broken or wrong with it. And now that I finished everything here, now I'm going to start with everything over here. That's the light button, right? We tested the lights on the outside with them. We made sure they work. But now, when you turn the high beam on, what happens inside here, guys? We get the high beam light indicator, right? So now it's time to talk about indicators when they're inside the truck. Hey, look, this is the high beam light indicator that I have to make sure works with the lights. This is my left turn signal indicator that I have to make sure turns on. The right turn signal indicator, the four-way flasher indicators, make sure they work. And the other indicator that I want to check when I turn my truck on is the ABS light indicator as well. Make sure that one turns on and stays on. On and off, but it stays on. So those are indicators. It all went with that light switch, okay? Panel lights, we don't check. Mirror heat, we don't check. Cargo light, we don't check. So just skip those. Wipers, we gotta make sure these are working. Look, we gotta make sure they're working, they're securely mounted, they're not cracked, they're not broken, red, worn, dry rotted, whatever you want to say about the wiper blades. And I would also make sure the washer really sprays, which those of y'all that have been here 2 or 3 times know that you can hear the motor, it's empty all the time. We don't put anything in it. Well, Jimmy doesn't put anything in it. So, hit the wash one, guys, because if you hit the on and off, sometimes you might be pushing it in and out and those things don't turn off. They got a mind of their own sometimes. So hit the wash one, just hold it and let it go, and that's it. Wipers, the wash one. Okay, so we checked everything here, right? We already checked the turn signal, the indicators, the four-way flasher, we covered that. We covered the steering wheel, good. Now we got gauges back here. Okay, oil pressure gauge. 3 things that I have to check on this gauge. 1, it has a needle, so I have to make sure that needle works, that it rises according to whatever pressure we have, right? 2, I have to pay attention to where the needle stops to make sure that it shows me the correct operating pressure for this truck. 3, I have to make sure that the warning light for this gauge also works at the beginning, that it turns on and off to make sure that it's working. Water temperature gauge, same 3 things. Make sure this needle works and rises, Make sure this needle shows us the correct operating temperature for this truck, and make sure that the gauge also works for that. The warning light gauge works as well. Voltmeter. Well, this is digital. It's a little digital screen right here, guys. There's no needle, but I see the numbers that it's telling me 12.3 volts. So that means that the gauge is working and it's showing me the correct volts, right? Anything between 12, 13, and 14 are all good volts. The warning light has one. It worked. I saw that warning light turn on and off at the beginning as well. RPMs, not on the test. Speedometer, not on the test. Fuel gauge, not on the test. Air pressure gauges, well, those are on the test. How do we check the air pressure gauge? Well, look, if the needle is in between 0 and 60 on the air pressure gauge, that means that we should have a low air warning light indicator letting us know whether it's an alarm, a buzzer, or a simple light, which is what this truck has. It just has a light. It doesn't have buzzers or alarms. It just has a light, and it's a little circle, a little red circle right here, look, above the 55. It's got 3 little lines on it. If that is on, that means you have lower pressure. And if you look at the gauge, yeah, it's at 50. It's in between 0 and 60, so it's working, right? Over there, it might be filled up already, because if you have the truck running, it might be filled up already. So you're not going to see what I'm seeing, but you just tell them the explanation anyways. 0 to 60, the warning lights are good. Now, from 85 to 100, what am I checking from 85 to 100? Well, I got to time it. When the needle hits 85, as it's filling, it's not building up enough air pressure for us to operate it right down the road. So, what else do we got to check on the air pressure gauge? Well, now we got to wait for it to get to 120. Because somewhere in between 120 and 140, this is where now we're listening to make sure that we hear the air governor go off and do that psh noise. And it regulates the pressure in between 120 and 140, so it's not overfilling our tanks or lines or anything, busting anything. So, 3 things for that gauge. 0 to 60, warning light. 85 to 100, no more than 45 seconds. And 120 to 140, make sure we hear the air governor. 1, 2, 3, 4 gauges. Those are the only 4. The oil, the water, the bolts, and the air pressure. We don't worry about any other gauge. Now, if you look here, it says traction override, not important. Split differential, not important. So this one's only going to have a face on it. So these 3 are not important, guys. You'll see that there is a lever right here next to your steering wheel. All I can say, guys, is just don't even touch that thing. It's not on the test. And if you don't know how to operate it correctly and you're going down the road and you pull that lever, you're going to lock up your trailer and it's just going to jackknife. It's going to pass you up. Right? So, now, parking brakes. For the truck, the yellow one, and red, trailer parking brake. You got to test both of those. So, when you get to the parking brakes, you have to make sure that the air pressure is built up all the way. If it's not, we can't test them. That's why I said if the truck was running right now, guys, our pressure would have been built up all the way already. It was ready for us to go into the parking brake, but if you leave it off, this is what's going to happen. Look, there's no pressure there. So what do you got to do now? You got to turn it on and fill it up and just sit here and wait and waste time. But before we get to the parking brakes, look, what do we have over here? Our heater and defrost controller. Again, nobody cares if you got AC, but you should always have the heater working and the defrost working. How do you test the heater? Well, we put it on the red. No matter what vent it's on, we just put our hand in front of it to make sure hot air comes out. Now, are we going to wait for hot air? No, we're not going to wait for hot air. We're just explaining this to them. We can be sitting there a minute or 2 waiting for hot air, and we don't have time to be wasting. How am I going to check the defrost? Well, I just got to put it on defrost here. Reach my hand up here to make sure that it blows out of the top up here. That's it. But guys, don't waste time. Just explain it where you would reach your hand, how you would do the heater defrost. Okay, so now I gotta check my parking brakes. You go ahead and turn it on and fill it up. We're running out of things to check. I've been watching other videos with the other guys. They call it the tug test, right? Hey, tug on the see if it's working. Well, on their sheet it don't say about tugging. That's part of the explanation. Her sheet says parking brake for the truck, parking brake for the trailer. That's what you gotta be careful with the baby. And explain what to do. So, parking brake test. Okay? Now the service brake test. What we need the service brake test. This one. How do we test the service brake? Well, we test the service brake, we gotta hold it down so we can release the parking brake. And the only way we can see if this thing is working or not is by trying to move it forward and hitting the brake to see if it works. Change your brakes on your car, you know? You gotta go run and get it out of 100 miles an hour. Stop it. But here we have to go 5 miles per hour. Hey, look. This is my service brake. Put it in here. I'm gonna hold my steering wheel in 2 hands.
Hang on, you got somebody under the trailer.
Road. Check my service brake. I'm going to grab the steering wheel with 2 hands. I'm going to move the truck up to 5 miles per hour. When I get to 5 miles per hour, I'm going to reapply the clutch and the brake. Make sure that it stops right away. And the reason I'm holding it with 2 hands is to make sure that it doesn't pull to the right or to the left. Because that's where you're checking to make sure that the brakes work evenly and they're adjusted evenly. So you hit the brake, you get a pull to the right or to the left. You gotta check the brakes. So, you don't go 5 miles per hour. You just tell them we're going to go 5 miles per hour. You might have a truck right in front of you over there at the test site, or you can move the truck from. Hey, look, you're going 5 miles per hour. Move it, stop it. Look, that's it. It worked, right? Okay. Good enough, guys. But the explanation was what important there, guys. That I explained it to you, and whether I have room to go 5 miles per hour or not, besides the point. If you can't even move it, period. Hey, look, see that truck is too close. I can't go 5 miles per hour. I can't even move it. Otherwise, I'm not going to hit the truck with the person in front of me. So, you just explain it. You pull that safety car, and look, there's no room for me to move. Just explain it. Okay. Parking brake test. Service brake test. You still got the air brake test. But there's also a few more things in here before that we still can't leave out, which are emergency equipment. We gotta make sure we got at least 6 spare fuses in the vehicle just in case one burns out. We got a replacement for it. 3 reflective triangles that are right here, right next to me on the bottom back. Touch the red box like right here. If we need to check on those reflective triangles, but we gotta make sure they're good, right? They're not cracked or broken. Because if we pull over, we pull them out and they're all broken, we're not gonna be able to set them up, right? So always inspect your emergency equipment that is good also. 1 fire extinguisher also right here next to me, mounted onto the cab. Making sure it's securely mounted so it's not bouncing around and not accidentally discharging here. Making sure it's full, first of all, you know. In case we need to use it full, but the safety pin is in place, so being on it and discharging by accident. That it's up to date, if you know the one that it's supposed to be, the A, B, C, or E. If you want to talk about that, guys, go ahead. Really, just look. As long as you say, I gotta make sure there's a fire extinguisher, secure, up to date, pin in place, fully charged, in good working condition. That's good enough, guys. If you know what it should be, the A, the B, the C, or the D, whatever, that's going to make it. So, fuses, fire extinguisher, reflective triangle, horns, windows, everything. Just covered everything on the list, guys. Look. Interior. Everything is right here that I just covered. This section right here. Now, if they ask me, are you done? What should I say?
Nope.
You are not done unless you have done the air brake test. Are we done?
Nope.
The air brake test is the most important part of the interior inspection. It's not two different things. Part the interior. When they say do the interior, you gotta do the air brake test included. You'll be surprised how many of y'all, they ask me, hey, you done? Yeah. Alright, you just need one more thing to do, guys. The air brake test. You just check all of this. It's a trick question again. No, you are not done, okay? So, I need to do the air brake test. The safest way to do this air brake test is for me to turn the truck off at this point, get out and exit and chalk up one of my tires. Because for the air brake test, it requires that we release the parking brakes and we don't hold anything and we don't want it to roll forward or back. So if you chalk your wheels before this, guys, it's up to you, because I know a lot of guys in the videos, they chalk their wheels up right away, but then you can't move it forward if you're trying to do your little tug test and stuff, right? You don't know if it's that or the actual brake working. So that's why I don't chalk the wheels until this point, this part of the test, guys. You turn your truck off, you exit the vehicle, you chalk up any tire, it doesn't matter which one you chalk up. I tell everybody, look, grab two wheel chocks, put one on the front of the tire and one on the back of the tire, the same tire. Because I've seen some guys put one here and then they go and put the other one way back there and they put them on the same side of the tire, which is useless because you're keeping it from going one way, but what about the other way? So don't waste your time. Two wheel chocks, one tire, one on the front, one on the back, pushed in all the way as tight as you can get them in there, because you don't want this thing to roll at all. So now that I know it's chalked up, I get back inside. What's the first thing I should do? Check the air pressure. Remember when we were doing our parking brake test, we had to make sure that the air pressure was built up all the way? Well, you got to do the same thing for the air brake test. So if you're not sure if it's completely full or not, guess what? Just get back inside and turn the truck back on. Start looking at the needle for the air pressure. Get on the accelerator. If it doesn't move, it's move. Make sure you fill it up all the way. It's not moving. It's not. Okay? Air pressure's built up all the way already. Turn it back on. Okay. Now to get the truck ready, I gotta make sure to place the key to the on position. And this is where you release your parking brakes and hope that you chalked it correctly and it don't roll anywhere. But if this thing would have rolled more than it did right there, guys, that was an automatic fail on the test. We're not chalking them correctly. That's why I said you gotta push those wheel chocks all the way up in there, guys. Okay, so we lost some air pressure when we released the parking brakes. It dropped. We're not at 120 anymore or more. But it's okay. It doesn't matter where it stops, guys. We're going to have that initial release because of the parking brakes. So, it dropped. Look, the truck is ready. Now I got to start the test. There's 3 steps to the test. Step number 1, we got to check it for air leaks. How am I going to check for air leaks? Well, look, I'm going to hold the service brake down for 1 minute. And while I'm holding it for 1 minute, I'm going to make sure that I do not lose more than 4 psi, 4 pounds of pressure in 1 minute. Okay? So, explain that to them first, right? We're checking for leaks and I'm going to hold it down. Now that you told them what you're doing, apply it. And once you apply it, you're going to hear more air leak. And once that air leaks and you see it, the needle move and stop, that's where your minute is going to start. So like right here, look. You heard the air, the needle moved, it stopped, boom, time is on, 1 minute. This is where the minute starts, guys, not at 120 or wherever there. It starts after you apply your brake. Okay, so look, I'm looking at the needle, I'm looking at the time. I'm going to be doing this for a whole minute, back and forth, making sure the time 60 seconds and no more than 4 psi. Why? Because if we do, what does that mean? What do we have?
Air leaks.
You can use your phone, you can use your watch, you can use whatever you want, guys, to time it for the minute. You can even count if you forget everything. 1, 2, but you better hope you're counting right. Alright, let's just say it's been a minute, right? 1 minute, okay. The needle didn't move, I did not lose more than 4 psi, there are no leaks. I'm gonna let it go, I'm done with the test. The first part anyways. Step number 2. Now I have to make sure that the low air warning light works on this truck. The way that I'm going to test that is I'm going to start the fan or pump on the service brake, and that low air warning light should turn on before the needle on the air pressure gauge reaches 60 pounds of pressure. Okay? So see how I told you what I'm going to do? Now I do it. Low air warning light came on and stayed on before 60 pounds of pressure, so that is working correctly. Okay? Step number 3. Now I'm going to check the emergency brakes on this truck to make sure that they're working. And the way that I'm going to test them is, look, I'm going to continue to pump on it, but what I'm looking for now is for the parking brake buttons that I pushed in at the beginning. I got to make sure they pop out by themselves. And not only do they have to pop out by themselves, they got to pop out somewhere in between 45 and 20 pounds of pressure on the air pressure gauge. So, we're testing the emergency brakes. Here we go.
Between 45 and 20, you said?
I'm just staring at the buttons. I'm not worried about 45 and 20 right now. I want to make sure those pop out by themselves. Now that they popped out by themselves, now I'm looking at the gauge to see if it's in between 45 and 20. And it is. So that means that the emergency brakes are working correctly. And what is that? Well, that's the end of my test. I'm done. I checked every single thing on that list that's in y'all's hand.